Hey guys, welcome back to Laurence McKenna on LFC channel, where we are talking about Jeremy Frimpong. Jeremy Frimpong's release clause looks like it is now, in the ether. People now know about it. There are people who are saying that Liverpool are ready to trigger it. There are people who are saying that Jeremy Frimpong himself wants this move to Liverpool, and wanting players at Liverpool who want to go to Liverpool feels good. It also, by the way, feels good that we haven't just spent a load of money last summer looking to solve problems that this summer we probably wouldn't be looking to solve, or that we'd be looking to solve in a different way. In retrospect, if Liverpool have the summer that at the moment the transfer window and the rumours are promising, then we're looking at a very smart transfer strategy, and Jeremy Frimpong is the first in showing us where Liverpool are moving tactically, how Liverpool are going to look to attack the opposition, impose themselves next season. £29.5 million and 35 million euros is certainly a very good deal for a very good right back who, granted, there are some people who say this guy doesn't defend, and I'm sure he's played in a very unique system before, but is someone who fits relatively well into Liverpool's squad, changes the style of what Liverpool are looking to do moving forward, because he's certainly not Trent Alexander-Arnold, but also offers a whole new dimension to someone like Mo Salah. And it explains why there are these other kind of connections that we've got, the Florian Wirtz connection, the Xavi Simons connection, possibly Ryan Cherki. There are a bunch of people out there with this idea at the moment that Liverpool are looking to be more adaptable. But what we would do in bringing in someone like Frimpong is that we'd just be bringing in an absolute cheat code of a player in the first place. Not only is this guy tenacious, not only is this guy incredible at pressing, not only is he fast, not only is he really tactically intelligent, incredible in combining with other players, the perfect fit for an Arne Slot style system with the 1-2-1-2 style of passing, which that Feyenoord side really became very famous for, but he's also great on the transition. I get it. He is a little bit smaller. I get it. We would always love if we were in competition with all the other teams so that we can win something over Man City, or we can get one over on Real Madrid, or whatever it is. We want to be the guys that people prefer to go to. But for 29, basically £30 million, we're getting a guy who would change fundamentally what Liverpool are trying to do and change the movement of the ball in the first place, not only at the back, but also up front. His carries are excellent. You know all of these different attributes by this point. You know the headlines about Jeremy Frimpong. But also what we get with that is a great personality. We get someone who already gels with the rest of this Liverpool team. We get someone who understands from Van Dijk and Gakpo and Gravenberch and all these other guys that there is something worthwhile sticking around for in Liverpool, and that if you're going to leave Germany and not go to Bayern, or you are going to go to the Premier League, then going somewhere that you're going to play a style of football which suits you, I mean, it just does it. It's a great combination. Liverpool love the marauding right backs. We love the marauding full backs, left backs as well. I do think it gives us a good idea, by the way, as to whether or not we're going to get Kerkez. Some people are saying whether we can get Frimpong and Kerkez in one summer. I think it's a legit question. I mean, they're two very attacking players. They certainly aren't part of a back four, or at least a traditional back four. But you've got to ask yourself, where do Liverpool project that football is going next? And how attacking does someone like Arne Slot realistically want to be? Does he want to have constant people running up and down the touchline all the time? Does he want that option? And do Liverpool really value, specifically him, value this idea that you need to be a defender first and then an attacker second? Or are we starting to change the way that we understand tactics in football? And is it really similar to what we were saying a couple of years ago, more about the zone that you play in and what you offer to that area, passing wise, combination wise, whether you make other players better, whether you become a bit of a multiplier in terms of the ability of someone like Salah, or the ability of someone like Luis Diaz, or the ability of either of your inside midfielders, or you just become an out option for Virgil van Dijk or Konate or whoever else is there? I think it's a really good, legit question to be asked about that. And we can't answer it now. We've not seen the way that Liverpool are going to play next season. But broadly, you can say that knowing this is this different to Trent Alexander-Arnold, we know that Liverpool are going to play differently next year. Obviously, if we'd have only stuck with Conor Bradley, that's a great option in the first place. He's a local lad, he's got all of the different attributes you want, but I don't think we could have said we can make it through one season with one right back. And it's nothing to do with the quality of the player, it's to do with the fact that this is an exhausting, if not the most exhausting position to play in the Premier League. The runs you have to make, the ground you have to cover, the different mental focuses you have at different times. That would be where I would say Frimpong can work on things. I'm not saying that Frimpong is, the worst player defensively. I think he's locked a couple of people down actually in the Champions League, and certainly in the Bundesliga, he's going to have a very different defensive job. And in the Xabi Alonso side, he's been part of the back five, really, or back three with the two wing backs. But the reality is that's probably where his weakness is. And I think we are going to see him get exploited early on. I think we are going to see a bit of a welcome to the Premier League type moment with a couple of these guys. I think we were kind of expecting that if we bought in like a Zubimendi or someone like that. There are going to be moments where you get overrun or someone tactically undermines you or they find a bit of a cheat code to work around you. And, sure, that's part of football, right? You can't avoid those kind of undermining moments. That's always going to happen. There's always going to be someone who, we saw it this season, they find a point where you're weak and then every other manager will pick up on that afterwards. They might have seen that themselves, but they might not have worked out the same solution another manager works out. That's where Arne Slot comes in. That's where pace, power, riding the tackles, being able to just put the other person on the back foot, being able to exhaust them. I think a lot of people aren't, we're talking tactically about what Frimpong brings to the team. Let's talk about how exhausting it's been to play Liverpool this season, how so many people have put Liverpool at that top table because we were relentless, because we had this control that just mentally drained the opposition. I don't think, obviously, that's not something you can say, like, Frimpong is a mentally draining player to play from an opposition standpoint. Obviously, you always have to be aware of the fact that he's counter-attacking. It probably pushes Mo inside. It maybe pushes and gives Liverpool another counter-attacking option in the transition. There's all these different aspects. But I think broadly, we're not discussing what the unit of a Liverpool team will currently bring and how, realistically, there's quite a large amount of money for us to spend this summer. Trent hasn't re-signed his contract, and while we didn't get a fee for him, it does unlock a lot of wages that we maybe would have been looking to pay. We also didn't spend a lot last summer, and frankly, I think we are going to sell some more players this summer, meaning there is more spend to be kind of unlocked there. The flip side of that is, I also think if we're bringing in someone like Jeremy Frimpong, we'd actually seeing why, it sounds weird, but why Trent would have left. Trent isn't that marauding type of right back. He's certainly not been that mobile more recently. And a lot of people have spoken about his work rate. A lot of people have spoken about his pace. I think he's a great player, don't get me wrong. But I think we've seen this in the last few games, like his distribution, the fact that he's been not quite being able to make those passes because of, I don't really want to speculate. At one point, I thought he looked injured or his movement was inhibited. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I don't know. I'm not speaking on any information. But we know that Frimpong is a very mobile player. We know he's someone who can get up and down very quickly. We know he's someone who's really good at riding tackles. We know he's someone who enabled that inside player that Xabi Alonso's system loves to play, almost similar to that kind of Amorim inside 10. And that works, like that, that's been found to be effective, not only in the Champions League, but in the Premier League as well. And I think with the adaptability that Liverpool are looking to build, whether we want to play a different formation or we want to distribute the ball to Mo Salah wide or inside or whatever, maybe we've got a multiplier in Frimpong. And, the likelihood is we're going to trade out either Kostas or Andy this summer. So wherever we get someone on our left back side, and broadly it seems to be Kerkez right now, but a lot of people seem to think if we get Frimpong, we won't get Kerkez. I'd be interested to see both. All the formations I'm looking at look incredible. But broadly, that means that is a fundamental shift. And I don't think many people have really acknowledged that this season. We've won the title, so there's not been many people looking at the weaknesses of Liverpool. But actually, our fullbacks have been pretty bang average, to be honest. Bang average in terms of their own performance and what we expect from Liverpool, especially out of a Klopp system, let alone a Slot system. So I think we're looking at it. You probably won't be able to see it until, you probably won't be able to imagine it until you see it out in the field, players moving around, combinations of play, all those kind of things. But Frimpong's an incredibly exciting player for that reason. He's incredibly charged. He seems to get what the fans are about. And I imagine he's had a few conversations with Virgil and with Ryan Gravenberch and with, Cody and those kind of guys. And, I also think that there are a lot of players who are going to be pulled towards playing for Liverpool because before it was Klopp, now it's Slot. Like, a lot of these guys are like, we love the training, we love the tactics, we love the way that you brief the players, the difference in the lifestyle that we have between the Klopp and everything else system. It doesn't make people like Pep and Arteta look outmoded. It's just a different way of attacking things. And like I said in all my other videos over the last few days, Shankly transitioned into Paisley, and Paisley was a very adaptable manager. He actually was slightly more of that kind of, he wasn't a man manager in a personal sense, but he was a man manager in the sense that he knew we can bring all these pieces to make more than one system. We can bring all these pieces together. You want us to pass it? Great. You want it to be short passes? Great. You want to go long? We've got that. Liverpool are looking to have tactically intelligent players and tactically adaptable players. And Kerkez, from all the names that we're associated with, are all tactically adaptable guys. Like, I can't think of a name we've not been associated with yet who doesn't come across as smart, part of playing a very complex system, whether it's under Xabi Alonso, whether it's at Crystal Palace, where Wharton has shone under multiple different managers, where we've got or ideas, should we say, not necessarily managers. And then on the other side of that, you've also got Frimpong, who's been at the top of his game for a couple of seasons now, and probably longer than that. And then the other side, Kerkez, who's had a very dramatic rise in the Premier League, but broadly we've known there have been those underlying numbers for quite a while now. So yeah, it's exciting for a very good reason. The tactical analysis indicates that, and especially when you think about it, this in combination with Slot has been responsible for unlocking so many big players. Players have come under his tutelage or come in under his care as a player, and suddenly they've changed back or to a way which is really compelling. You can think of it in this Liverpool team. You've got Ryan Gravenberch. McAllister kind of went back to what he did at Brighton, or kind of a combination of what he did at Brighton and at Argentina. Szoboszlai wasn't any longer that 8, he was more like that 8/10. Salah has the best season he's ever had in the Premier League, numbers-wise at least. Luis Diaz shifted into the middle. We've kind of made like a makeshift thing there. Maybe Jota wasn't quite at his best, but Cody Gakpo had that shining part of his season. Trent has still managed to maintain all those assists. Van Dijk seems more, his leadership qualities are better than ever. Konate is looking very, very strong. There are a lot of players, I can't think of them regressing under Slot. And so it only really gives me more hope as a Liverpool fan that when Slot gets time on the training pitch with them and more time to kind of relax and those kind of things, we're in good shape. A lot of people are going to say next season it's about going back to back to back to back to back. I don't disagree, to be honest, but I think everyone is going to come back stronger. If you look at the starting 11 of Arsenal next year, it's going to be stronger. It's going to be more fit, all these kind of things. Zubimendi, a new striker, all these kind of things. Same with City. They're going to go through a full rebuild. Manchester United, Chelsea, all the sides who we think could perceive as weak this season, Spurs, all of them will be back stronger. Villa, Newcastle, Brighton, we're playing Brighton this weekend. They're about to miss out on Europe or, get very close to it. These are all strong sides. And I think we need to be adaptable in order to play them all. I think a few years ago it was about, we were committed to that Klopp style of football, and then there was the tweaks and things like that, but we ran through sides. This time, I think all of the players we're talking about offer control or a route to control through different methods. And I think we think of it as this is how you get control. No, there's 15, 20 different ways that we're going to be able to get control, 100 different ways to get control in a game. And it's about Slot reading it, the players learning to read it, bringing in players and having players already who are great at reading the flow of a game and how the opposition is reading the game themselves. And that is where someone like Frimpong comes to life. He's putting them on the back foot. They're kind of like that constant jab, always there, always a danger. You saw him against Liverpool. Obviously, he was offside for that goal, but you saw him against Liverpool. I think he was a real danger in all that time. Not only that, but I think, the final thing I'll cover is, I think he's an understudy to Salah. We're looking at a time when we're going to lose Salah within the next couple of years to the African Cup of Nations. We do need to give Salah less minutes over these next couple of years just to maintain his fitness level. I'm not saying he's unfit, but you get what I'm saying. And I think also just shifting it up, being able to sub off Salah for Connor Bradley, shift Frimpong forward and say right, you go at him, but you with him. These are tactically confusing things that while we're impacting and analysing Frimpong on a personal level, where it's what can you bring just you from what we see at Bayer, what is it that is going to impact the ecosystem of that Liverpool front line and back line everywhere? It's Frimpong's adaptability. Auxiliary winger, right back, winger, player who can play just off Salah. If Salah's on that inside, what if we were to shift Salah a bit more centrally? There's so many exciting tactics with him. And for a great price, 30 million. If we'd spent that on another winger who was quick, pacey, rides tackles, all these kind of things, I think we'd be thrilled to see a guy like that come in and offer those kind of attributes as a backup to Salah. He's kind of multifaceted, and I don't think many people are really thinking about that or talking about that at this point, especially because they're focusing on the right back, because guess what? The narrative is all about Trent right now and not about this summer just yet. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I appreciate hearing from you. There's Discord, there's Patreon, there is a super chat down there. Hit them all, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Much love. Bye. That was cheap.